That's what I should have done. And let's make, let's do this right. Let's actually close this. We'll delete the home page, and we'll add the task list view with a form as the home. So Apex task, display the title, and then we'll add the customers. And we'll make it a top level page as well. I'm actually going to just skip through all of that, which you can. You can skip through setting the date defaults. It's just that you'll have to fix them the way that you want them in each of your date fields later on. So shouldn't be that big of a deal for us. So we've clicked create application. It should go out and create the mobile app. And it did. Now let's run that. And we log in as demo. What I'm wanting to do is we'll log into that same app here. And really all I need is the first two items. So it's looks like it's 11973 and page 1. So this is our new app. And now when I go in here, I should have a create button, which I do. So I can go to tasks and I can create a new task by groceries. Priority, we'll fix that. Milk. Click create. Now, the great thing about this is that we can instantly see, if we go to tasks here, we can instantly see updates. So if I click create a new one here, I've got to rotate my tires. High priority. So we'll click create there, and if we do a listing here on tasks, now we see the mobile app as well. Okay, so there's a couple of things we'll want to fix and a couple of things we want to visit. For example, if we go to what I was mentioning earlier, if we go here, I set up this priority as a drop-down list, but if I go into my mobile app design, I'm going to have to redefine that again, and I don't want to do that. So what I really want to do is I want to go to my application builder, and I want to go to mobile tasks, shared components, and we'll actually create a list of values. So let's create a list of values from scratch, and we'll call it priority. Priorities. And we'll say on here, we'll define it the same way. Critical, high, high, low, low. So we'll create that list of values. Now we can use that in our mobile app. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's edit the task. This should be the task details, and we go to priority. And now we see priority as a text field, but we don't want that. We want a select list, and we want to point to a shared component, and it comes from our priorities list. So now if we save that, and we can run it here, we could see that drop-down list. Let's actually see it in the mobile version. So here we have a high. Okay, so now what we need to do, if you can guess, we need to go back to our regular tasks. Let's make sure I have a few tasks. This is task and customers. Let me get rid of that so I don't get confused. Let me get rid of this Hello Apex, delete this. And so now Apex task, this is our desktop application. If we go to the details, the form, and I can tell just by looking at the icon, this is the form. If I look at the priority here, remember we actually set this up as a static values list. Well, we want it to be a shared component, but when I go there, I actually don't see any shared component to pick. And the reason for that is shared components are shared among different pages. Let me go ahead and leave this page. They're shared between the different pages of an app, but what we can do is we can actually create as a copy of an existing list of values coming from our mobile tasks. And priorities, we can say copy and subscribe, and it'll be a copy of priorities. And we'll leave that as the name. That way we know just by looking at it that it's actually copied and maintained in the mobile app. We probably would do that kind of in reverse normally. Define it in the desktop app and then make a copy for the mobile app. But now if we go back here, we can pick select list, and the type is not a static, it is shared component, but now it's a copy of priorities. Okay, and so let's save that and run it. And so now I have critical. Now let's go back to our mobile app development. Let's actually add application builder, Apex mobile tasks. Let's go to the shared components here and actually add a medium. We'll add a medium value there. Create an entry. We can do a grid edit. We can create a new entry. Let me cancel that. Let's do grid edit. Okay, we can see here. Let's add an item, and we'll give this. This sequence is just for keeping it in order, and we can do 40 and we can do 30 here, and we'll give it a value of medium, and the return value is medium uppercase. Apply the changes. Okay, so now we've changed that in our mobile app. So now if we do a refresh here, do a refresh, we should see medium here, and we do. We can save that. But now the more exciting thing is let's go, and I think I have it open here. Nope. Let's go to our desktop app and run that. And we go into tasks, let's create a new task. We should have had medium. Actually, I think I missed a step there. You actually need to go back to our mobile tasks, shared component, list of values. We're going to publish this. Yeah, and so what happens is when we publish this, now when we go here, we have medium, right? So if you make changes, you have to publish them out to any other copies that have subscribed to those. And so that's a good way for you to keep your, if you have dependent apps, so we have two different versions, a mobile version and a desktop version, we can make sure they stay in sync with any changes. And we could do the same thing with context. What I wanted to do is actually I wanted to include, let's create a customer here, John Doe. And so we'll create a couple of them. John Doe and Jim Smith. So we have a couple of customers. And actually, if we come over here and look at our customers, now we've got them there. We can edit their name, John Q. Okay, and similarly, we can do a refresh and see our customers. What I want to do is I actually want to add the customer field to our, let's say just to our tasks on our data app, on our desktop app. So how do we do that? We'll go to SQL Workshop, Object Browser, and we're looking for tasks, Apex task, and we're going to add a column. We're going to add it and call it customer ID. And we want it to be a number because the customer ID field is actually a number. And we'll leave it like that. Okay, so we've added our customer ID field. Now, normally I would add a foreign key. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's a constraint here. We'll create a foreign key constraint that basically says our customer ID, and I didn't, I may need to go, let me go back to the SQL workshop. That's what I get for working in lowercase. I don't normally work with lowercase. We'll rename a column, and we'll rename this to be customer ID, but lowercase. All right, and then let's go back and create that constraint. We'll create a foreign key, Apex, task, customer, foreign key, and we'll say do not allow them to delete. And then we'll say, we'll say that the customer ID is the field, and the reference table is Apex customer, and then this is the reference column. And we'll click finish. And so that creates that relationship between the two. Now the interesting part here is when we come over here and we can add on the list of customers, we'll have to edit the interactive report. And we could add the customer here into the interactive report, and we'll go ahead and do that. Actually, I'm in the wrong page. I needed to go to task. So it's this list of tasks. We're going to have a customer. And we'll save that. And so what that's going to do is that's actually going to pull in this customer field. Now, if we go here, we actually don't see it here. So let's go ahead and add it here as well. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to add an item. We're going to go into the list of items, and wherever we see all the other task fields, we're going to create a new page item, and we'll call this one customer. But instead of it being a select list, we'll do a pop-up list of values. And we're going to do a special list type of list of values. It's going to be a SQL query. And if we need some help with this SQL query, we should be able to get some examples here. Here's a good example. I'm just clicking on the help here. So our SQL statement should be something like this. Select, and we're going to say select name as the display and ID as the return value from Apex customer. Okay. So select name, and that's going to be the thing it's going to show. It's the display value. And then the ID, whatever we pick, the ID is going to get returned. So let's see how that works. Column customer not found in Apex task. So the thing I need to do is I actually need to say, this is a database column, but it's actually going to be customer ID. Let's run that without the quotes. There we go. And so now what we get is a pop-up list of values. Oh, right. We do have to, I've got to fix my query now. Again, because of the fact that I'm using lowercase, case sensitivity requires that I go ahead and put everything in double quotes, including the table. And that's all just for the purposes of actually being able to identify correctly. So if I click on this customer list of values, I can pick John Smith, save it, and it shows up. It actually shows up here as a number because that's actually what's getting saved. Now I will show in a later version of this how to fix that, but we'll leave it there for now. And so that's pretty much it. We'll probably revisit this and spruce it up a little bit more in the future. Thanks for watching.